Welcome back, YouTube. We are back with yet another video. I've got Billy here. Billy is a member at my gym. He's 18 years old and he is an up-and-coming bodybuilder. Now, today's topic is bulking dead. Should you bulk? Should you not? What is the best way to build muscle? You're all probably going to be surprised what I'm going to say here first. Bulking isn't for everyone. If your goal is to simply maintain a good physique or even build a good physique by normal terms or by general population, what general population actually thinks a good physique looks like, you absolutely don't need to bulk. No. You do not need to be going through active phases of taking your body weight up and then actively dieting down to get lean or stage lean. That's just not your goal. However, if you want to maximize the opportunity for gaining muscle, if you want to transform your physique, if you want to reach your true muscular potential and add as much muscle on your frame as you physically can, you have to take your body weight up. It's a must. I do agree that a surplus that is needed to build muscle isn't huge. However, a surplus is still needed. You still need active periods of gaining mass and body weight in order to transform your physique. And any of you that follow me, I have just done a transformation with my client, Nick Bellew. He has gained over 30 pounds of muscle in the last 2 years, going through the process of bulking and then going through the process of actively getting lean off the back of that. That is 35 pounds of muscle added, and I would argue he's leaner now than he was 2 years ago. In 110 weeks, this is something that's possible here, guys, as Joe has just got this up on the screen. This is something that you can achieve if you actively pursue gaining phases. Now, gaining phases are not an excuse to just gain a ton of body fat. No. The more body fat you gain, the more you shift the ratio of your ability to build muscle versus continue to gain body fat. However, your musculature will also dictate as to how lean you can actually stay. And what I mean by that is, the less muscle you have, the softer you will look as you go through the process of gaining muscle and your off-season phases. Now, the reason why I have Billy here is because Billy, right now, is sitting at 87 kilos, right? Yep. And he is much shorter than me, so it's probably about 5'5", right?
5'7", come on.
It's probably about 5'5", right? Now, Billy, tell us, how much did you weigh when you started this journey right now?
Right, so when I first started training, I was 60 kilos. Now, this was when I was like 15, so I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I pushed up to 80, gained a lot of fat in the process because I didn't know how to eat properly. But skipping to my most recent bulk is where I started doing things right. I was 74. I'd just come off the end of a cut. However, I did that wrong as well. So I did lose a bit of muscle in that process. But I was in a good spot to push up. Went from 74, nice and slow, over nine and a half-ish months. Got up to about 90. I was sitting around 94, 95-ish. I had a lot of muscle on me, and I had a good bit of shit weight on me as well at the same time. So recently now, been in a little deficit for nothing too harsh, not pulling calories back too much, mainly pulling away the off plan once a week, a little bit of the calories, not even added cardio in that much, and then I pulled a good bit off. I went to about 90 and I felt a lot better, looked a lot better. Now put cardio in, a little bit less calories, rest day calories down even further, and now I'm at the 87 range. I'm just peeling back so I can push up again.
Right, so that's 27 kilos added since he actually started. 27 kilos. And I would argue, seeing your pictures when you first started, you probably had more body fat on you than you do now.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Would this be possible if you followed the strategy that all of the influencers now and self-proclaimed educators are trying to claim that you shouldn't actively bulk?
No, definitely not.
How much do you think you'd weigh now? How much muscle would you think you have in comparison?
I think I wouldn't even be up that much.
Now, What are the lessons that you've learned along the way?
With bulking, I feel like you get a lot more extra stability. You have the actual nutrients to, you have the fuel.
Yeah, of course.
And if you were to sit maintenance, I just don't think you'd make much change in comparison to if you have those extra tools there.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I have picked up on what we just said is the second time you actually did it, you took your time, right?
Yeah.
See, bulking isn't dead. Bulking, or shall we say, off-season, whatever you want to call it, for me, it's an improvement phase. That's ultimately what it's all about. It's not about getting fat. It's not about necessarily just pushing your body weight for sake of it. It's all about improving. You are trying to actively gain as much muscle tissue on your frame as you physically can. Now, this off-season right now, how many weeks do you think I've been in surplus?
You?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
5 hours later. Right. I have just spent 34 weeks in a surplus, and this week my body weight has held at 280 pounds consistently with no drop-offs.
Yeah, I was going to say
Guess my stage weight.
Kilos or pounds?
Pounds.
230, 40.
Nailed it. 231.
Cool.
231. So 230, 231. So call it 230, right? 50 pounds I've added since my stage weight.
Yeah.
Over 34 weeks. That is a rate of gain of around just over £1 a week.
Yeah.
Now, with that sort of rate of gain, not only have I managed to sustain my training performance, but my health, my cardiovascular capacity, and as you guys have seen, I share my blood work on this channel very frequently. My cholesterol is still in range after I have gained 50 pounds of body weight since my show last year. Now, this is only possible through a controlled surplus, a small deficit over time. Now, look, the way I structure this and the way I run my off seasons right now is very different to yours.
Yeah.
I would not want you to try and do what I do because you're not at that stage yet.
Yeah.
You will actively need to get a little bit softer for you.
Yeah.
And the way it looks for you is going to be slightly different because you simply carry less muscle mass.
Yeah.
One day, when you are bigger, it will look a lot different.
Yeah.
You'll always look very lean.
Yeah.
Right? Now, imagine this. If I was to try and just maintain and not go into a calorie surplus, not take my body weight up by 50 pounds over the 34 weeks, do you think I'd be able to gain the muscle tissue I have now and move the loads that I have done?
No, definitely not.
Absolutely not. It just would not be possible. Now, look, if your goal isn't to be competitive, your goal is not to achieve your absolute potential, and if your goal is just to feel good and look good and not really make progress, maintenance is for you. Absolutely. And you can still make marginal progress. However, it's not going to be anything eye-catching. It's not going to be anything that's impressive. That's just a fact. Whether you're natural assisted, it does not matter. The principle applies the same when it comes to building muscle. Sprinkle a bit of sauce doesn't change the game all that much. Now, looking at me right now, do you think I have 50 pounds to take off to be stage ready again?
No.
That pretty much sums up if bulking is dead or not. We have my example this year with gaining 50 pounds of body weight and my pictures from my peak of the off season just now that I've taken yesterday up on the screen right now. You have second example of my client gaining over 35 pounds of muscle in the last 2 years. And actually, he has less body fat now than he did then. So not only is 35 pounds up in 2 years, but he's also leaner. And we have another fantastic example of Billy, who's 18 years old, up and coming, extremely passionate about bodybuilding, starting from a very, very, very small kid to where he is right now. Now, the big takeaway point, all of you watching this, guys, is this. You do not have to do bodybuilding in such a narrow-minded mindset where you cripple yourself with the information that is all around the internet right now. The way Billy is executing his off-season is way different to mine, but it works.
Yeah.
You will get to a point where you will probably have to tighten things up and you will probably have to scale up and shift towards the fashion that I run my off-season with, right?
Yeah.
However, now is not the time.
Yeah.
You're still young. You still need to go through that process. And more importantly, you're learning along the way. That's one thing I've picked up on from what you just said is you've learned a lot going through the process.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Every single time we do this, guys, the more years we have on our belt, our training gets better. Our ability to adhere to the diet is better. And our nutrition is always fine-tuned and dialed in so much more. But more importantly, there's levels to the game, right? The way I operate, I do not expect Billy to operate at the same level, nor do I expect 95% of my clients to operate at that level. You have to set realistic expectations per each client and per each individual and tailor the plan that will ultimately be the best for them to optimize their lifestyle, their bodybuilding, their journey, and optimize their progress so that it's sustainable and, more importantly, achievable over time. So guys, bulking is dead if you want to maintain and just hold a good physique. However, if you want to maximize your gains, if you want to leave nothing on the table,
bulk, motherfucker.
Exactly that. Guys, thanks so much for today. If you are wondering if bulking is dead, trust me, it's not. Now, before I leave you guys, I want to touch on some extremely important points on how you should approach your bulking phases. If I was to give you guidelines, roughly, and again, this doesn't have to be exactly a pound. However, again, this applies for both natural and assisted crowd. Roughly around 1 pound of body weight per week added consistently over a long period of time, starting from a lean position. I cannot stress the importance of that. Your off season, ideally, you need to start from a lean starting point. The more body fat you carry, the more body fat you will gain as a process of you taking up your body weight. And what that will mean then, guys, is if you have gained a vast amount of body fat, it will be much harder for you to diet off the back of it and then maintain the muscle size and the muscle that you've built during your off season. So there is a fine balance that you have to have when it comes to your gaining phases. Gain just enough, but do not go beyond the point where it is productive. Super important. Now, when it comes to nutritional guidelines, 1 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And the reason why I'm saying 1 to 2 is because I have given more direct reference points before, but roughly between 1 to 2 pounds, you're going to be fine. I like to sit a little bit higher personally. Billy probably doesn't. It doesn't matter. As long as you get an adequate amount of protein intake, you will grow. Then you make up the remainder of your calories with carbs and fats. Fats ranging 0.3 up to 1 gram of fat per kilogram of body weight, and then carbs as of what you need. That's nutritional guideline. Last but not least, an example of what you can do to maximize your growth and how you can set up your timeline to get the most out of it. And that's something I firmly suggest to Billy to continue to do so and continue to almost fine tune for him personally. In an ideal world, what I'd like to do and what I would like to see from majority of you, between 18 to 25 weeks spent in a very small calorie surplus. How much of a calorie surplus is needed? Just enough to be gaining around a pound per week. If you are natural, probably even less. After you have spent 18 to 25 weeks of gaining, I would then strongly suggest 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 6 weeks spent in a maintenance phase, holding your body weight. During that time, I would actually actively try and get fitter and try and get used to carrying your new size and body weight and reach a new level of homeostasis, so new level of normal. As you have probably experienced, every time you reach a new body weight, it gets a little bit uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yeah, can't breathe, snoring.
Exactly that. So for me, the slower you go up, the easier it gets. So for me right now at 280, I feel like I can run. I feel fit as a fiddle. I can imagine you probably feel super fit at your body weight now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes time, and it takes time spent at that body weight. So when you reach new level of musculature, do not rush to then go straight into a diet phase. Stay strong, stay big. After that, I would highly, highly advise a diet phase that would last between 6 to 12 weeks and even more if you have accumulated more body fat than needed. The reason why there's a reference point between 6 to 12 weeks is because some people naturally get leaner easier, others simply do not. If you are someone who finds it harder to lose body weight, take your time. Longer spent means slower rate of loss, allowing you to stay stronger and retain much more muscle mass, giving you more time for potential diet breaks and deloads if they are needed. Some gold here for you guys. Should be charging for this, but I'm not. Because I'm not charging for this, make sure you subscribe. Billy, any final thoughts? Found this helpful?
Yeah, and there's no point rushing it either. Like eating more and more food, it's not gonna speed up the process.
More food doesn't mean more muscle. Remember that, guys. More food often means just getting more fat. And I'll be honest, Billy, in my younger days,
Yeah,
I have made that mistake before.
yeah, I did the same.
You cannot rush gaining muscle mass. Just because you can eat more doesn't mean you should eat more. And one thing I've understood as well myself, I've got my mother's appetite. My mum eats like a machine. She's, honestly, mate, she's crazy. But she's always in great shape, so I can't really tell her to stop. So, eat to your needs, not to your appetite. I will leave you on this golden rule, guys. If you are gaining weight, you don't need more food. Stay patient, stay disciplined, stay consistent, and as always, effort over everything. Guys, thank you. Peace out. Hope you enjoy the video. Take care for now.